I feel like we have to start at the end a little bit because there is much to discuss. This is, of course, a movie that looks like it ends with John Wick dying and completing his journey towards absolution. First off, I already can see the discourse online that is going to be whipped up as to whether or not his death is final. In your minds, do you see this as John's final?
I mean, I have an opinion, but I don't know if we should concretize. I mean, it depends on let the audience have it.
Let the audience decide.
Yeah.
I think we just wanted it to feel fulfilling to the end of John Wick's journey. So whether it's John or John Wick, I'll give it to you guys.
He's still alive.
Who thinks he's still alive? All right. I mean, you fell off like what, 30 buildings in this movie?
Yeah.
So when this movie was in production, Chapter 3 had the Parabellum subtitle. There was, early on we saw that you guys may have been planning to go with a subtitle for this one of Hagakure. Could you maybe explain, now that we've all seen the movie, what your original thinking was for including that subtitle?
Yeah, sure. Just in the kind of origin story of how we came up with Chapter 4, it really became the theme of death. Really came forward, and Chad has been really influenced by in literature, the ideas, philosophy, a bit of Bushido, and there's a book called Hagakure. I mean, John's really technically probably a Ronin, but the idea of a good death. So there's a lot of kind of ideas about death and your path and your way, and who are you, what kind of person. So that was the intention originally of Hagakure.
I like that title. I'm also, death is a theme that obviously is permeating this movie, but the thing that I really enjoy about it is just as fronted is the theme of friendship and brotherhood. What went into your thinking of making that another central part of this film?
When Keanu decided to do a number 4, you always ask the why. We knew we wanted to have this theme of a good death and a good life. But we wanted to expand the world a little bit. We thought the best way to do that was showing John's other relationships with other people that could only understand him because they were in the same dilemma situations, life that he was in. So we try to work outward and finding very interesting characters that had some kind of, like we did in the first week. We don't really talk about it, but Francis or Ginny the cop or all these people, you learn about John through other people. So we wanted to construct a kind of story or storylines that all interacted with John, that we learned more about John and the world through these great characters. Call them frenemies. It's very much loosely based on like the good, the bad, the ugly. There's all this friendship. They're just on different sides of the line. So that's how we kind of came about that.
And as the series has gone, Keanu, I wonder if maybe, the action hero historically is the Superman and takes on everything by himself. Have you enjoyed over the course of this series how, because the first film is, he gets help, but it is John front and center, kind of working alone for a lot of it. But as the films go, he enlists more and more help. Has that been gratifying for you to sort of change what the idea of an action hero is?
I don't know if I'm doing that, but thanks for saying that. Yeah, I mean, it's been really fun to be part of collaborating on what the John Wick stories could be, and to have the opportunity to tell, now the 4th film, the evolution of the character and show more sides of it, has been one of the great pleasures of it.
And whether or not this is sort of John's last dance in present time, we do know that Ballerina is coming, starring Ana de Armas. We know, Keanu, that you appear in that movie. We also know that that movie is about Rooney sort of hunting down her father's killer, and we know that John Wick is sort of wrapped up in that search. Can you, first of all, tell me whether you dance in Ballerina?
I don't do any I do John Wick dancing. And yeah, it was cool. Len Wiseman, the director, worked with Chad and consulted just about the world. And so what was cool is that they pitched that film taking place after Chapter 3, before Chapter 4. I filmed it a few months ago, and many months ago, 6 months ago. But it was fun to put the suit back on and play the role in no time.
We're psyched to see that. And recently, I read that in the scripting process for these films, Keanu, you have a tendency to act out the other parts as you are in the writing process. Was that right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I end up playing multiple characters. Yeah, the Winston voice. Yeah. That's what's fun, man. We're just making it up. It's a playground. We're just like, you know, and I know the character. I know the world. Yeah.
Chad, do you have a particular favorite line reading of Keanu's from that process anywhere where you're like, oh wow, that's a better impression than I was expecting?
I don't know if it was a line reading.
I don't do impressions. I speak in the voice of.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Winston.
You can do the Winston voice
Yes.
pretty good. Bowery King, no, I mean, no
Yeah.
one can be as good as Lance.
No.
Yeah.
But it's mostly about coming up with the cool character beats. Like Keanu, like, what was it, number 2 with Gianna?
Yeah.
With his friend there, like that whole scene was literally acted out in our gym one day. I think we were just writing. It's
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And I do want to stop down here. We talked a little bit about this on the way in. We are all obviously still kind of reeling from the loss of Lance Reddick, who is such a linchpin of this series and such a fantastic actor. I didn't get the chance to talk to, I got the chance to talk to him a couple weeks ago when we did the junket. I didn't get a chance to talk to him about how he felt about the film. Can you maybe share Lance's reaction to Chapter 4 with us?
Lance was, incredibly excited when he had seen it before we started the press tour. He, I think, was very satisfied with how we expanded the world. And, you know, when we first handed Lance the script a few years ago, obviously Sharon's character dies. And, you know, that's always a little disturbing when you see your character perish on paper. But Lance almost instantly got, like, he read the whole script, he understood how much or how important that was to the overall movie. That starts the whole journey for Winston, and how it triggers the friendships and all the dilemmas that happen since. So you just have somebody that's so good at their work, such a great artist who gets the big picture and how important his role is in the movie. And I think, one of the best things he ever said to me was after he saw it was like, yeah, I'm very proud of what he did. Thank God we made those decisions and we didn't back out.
Yeah, he's a beautiful man, wonderful artist, and I'm just really honored, grateful to work with him over 4 films, almost 10 years. So, yeah.
I want to touch specifically on what I believe is one of my favorite sequences in this franchise now, which is the Osaka Continental Siege. I love the structure of it. I love how well you track those different perspectives throughout the action. Can you maybe talk about sustaining the tension throughout that entire sequence and how you guys went about doing that?
I think, just in action in general, the action is important, the choreography, but it's the setup, I think, is the most important. If you care about the characters, if you actually like all the characters, you're going to like what they do in action. So by the time we got to the Osaka assault, right, you spent a little time with Rina, with Hiroyuki, you know, you got to meet the tracker a little bit. Obviously, you spent some time with John Wick. So by the time we unleash, you have all these great characters all interacting, and then, you know, you get to unload with Donnie Yen a little bit there, sipping soup and killing people.
Yeah.
And then you think it's going one way, and then we pull all the characters you love and kind of throw them at odds with each other. So you have this, you know, pretty cool action sequence with all these different viewpoints, and it ends up with 2 friends that you both like, going, okay, well, who's going to win this? Hiroyuki, John's best friend, or Donnie Yen, kind of a frenemy, and it goes a different direction than I think most people think. But I think the most important thing is the setup and get you to fall in love with the characters.
Keanu, we saw a little bit, we got a little behind the scenes look of some of the filming of that sequence, and You rock those nunchucks in that sequence. In the look that we got, it looked like it may have taken a lot of practice to get there. How long did it take for you to train on those nunchucks for that scene?
They introduced them pretty early in the training, so I guess I got them in my hands probably about 4 months before we started filming.
Did you knock yourself in the head, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but I also had to learn how not to hit other people.
What took longer?
They're tricky. I'm not naturally coordinated, so it took a little bit longer for me. But I had some wonderful teachers and instruction. Yeah, so there were some times where people put on like protection and helmets, and they were like, just hit them. But we used rubber ones, and so. But then I got used to like just how to come close and sell it, like heroes and punchers. We still had to close up some of the distances, but I also didn't want to get too flowery with it, so I did just a couple of stuff. For me, I was more interested in how we holstered them, this holstering them, but how it would kind of work with the guns and stuff.
I mean, it's something that this franchise does that so many other action franchises do not, which is tracking your reloads, having to shake all the shrapnel out of your suit after as you're going into a duel.
That's your idea.
Oh, was that the shaking of the bullets? That was good. Everyone loved that one. An aspect of this movie that I find there's a certain irony to it that for all the immaculately choreographed and conceived action sequences, that we wrap things up here with just a very simple duel, just one-on-one. At what point in the writing process for this did you decide that that's how you want to end on such kind of a simple note like that?
I think you came up with that way, way back in the beginning. Yeah.
We knew we wanted to end it with a duel between friends.
But just what would that duel look like?
We didn't quite figure it all the way out.
I think I came up with
You came up with the click, and he didn't shoot yet.
Yeah.
So that was how we got out of it. But yeah, we were happy with that ending. We knew we were going to get there
somehow,
some way.
And why, was there a specific reason why you chose Paris for where to wrap that up? I have to imagine that revolution and overturning tyranny were probably on your mind.
Yeah, no, those are all, it's great for symbolism, but it's also Paris. If you're going to work somewhere, it's not bad. Yeah, but it had the arc. We knew we wanted something symbolic at the end. We had scouted a couple locations, but Keanu had been there, I think, a lot more than I have over a couple years, and he suggested Sacre-Cœur. I think we either wanted either Notre Dame or Sacre-Cœur, and Notre Dame was still under construction.
Sure. That Paris sequence is really. I want to start on the stairs because first of all, getting sent down those stairs was a hilarious beat. I have to ask, I'm a massive Ace Ventura fan. Was there any Ace Ventura 2 on your mind on that long
the Buddhist shrine there?
The sling everyone loves, the slinky.
No.
You weren't treating John Wick as a slinky.
No, we didn't go to Ace Ventura land with that. Stairs and car hits seem to be John's weakness, I guess.
Nice triple car hit in this one as well.
But I think it was more about we're big Buster Keaton fans.
Yes.
Came from the old Buster Keaton.
Chad, of course, you spent some time in Japan shooting this movie. We know that you were also developing Ghost of Tsushima, IGN, big fans of that here. Can you talk about anything that you carried forward from filming Chapter 4 that you plan on taking into Ghost of Tsushima?
Oh my God, just you work with Dan Louston, the cinematographer, and Kevin Cavanaugh, the production designer, just every John Wick we tried to build the world a little bit bigger, both with characters and set pieces and lighting. Just what we've learned over the last couple of years with DI, digital intermediate, the coloring of the movie at the end, and what you can do with the new technology of the new Alexa cameras. That's going to allow us to take, hopefully, cinematography to the level that Ghost deserves. So you can combine real world without digital, digital world building to really accent the proper world, real locations with the kind of color palettes that we want to do. And that was, you can see it was like purples and pinks, and we've pushed color and highlights about as far as you can push in John Wick Chapter 4. So it was a big technological achievement to get the colors we did in this and to get them to really stick, especially in the theaters like you guys are seeing.
Any designs on a Kurosawa mode, black and white?
It's definitely a conversation.
Nice. Maybe we could open it up to maybe 2 or 3 questions from the audience.
Training, shooting.
Yeah, wake up, probably drive to set, hang out for a second, hair and makeup. That's usually an hour and a half. Start the scene. If it's a fight day.
Not rehearsal.
No warm up. I used to warm up. Now it's just okay, let's go. And then fight for 10 hours. Like so, the stuff with the nunchucks. I think I shot that for 2 days. Is that 2 days?
The nunchucks now, you're like
3 days. 3 days. Yeah. So that's like 10 hours of fighting. And then take the hair and makeup, get them changed in an hour, and go home, have a whiskey, maybe jump in a cold plunge, and then
What whiskey?
go to bed.
What whiskey?
It depends. Usually like the Macallan tea, Yamazaki tea.
Yeah, write that down.
I'm a big fan of Walter Hill's and the Warriors. I know we all grew up with the Warriors. I mean, we had worked with David Patrick Kelly. He was Charlie in the first movie, Warriors Come Out and Play. A producer Keanu and I had worked for on The Matrix is Joel Silver had done it. It was just a cool movie. We love the Warriors. And we were trying to get more music into John Wick. We usually don't do a lot of needle drops. It's more composition orchestration. We're in the third act and we wanted to have more fun with it. We wanted the information to get out because we'd use the Suicide Girls. And we kept telling everyone, like, we need an idea, something like the Warriors, something like, oh, we'll just do the Warriors, we'll put in the Eiffel Tower, and we'll get the fire. And that's how we got Painted Black and the music in here. It was a cool way to let everybody know where John Wick was, expand the world a little bit, and put in some cool music.
Favorite villain? Hold on, in the franchise or ever? Ever. Favorite villain you've ever fought? Tilda Swinton.
I mean, it's gotta be Smith, right?
Yeah. Come on.
Agents.
Yeah, you know, you got combos. And guys, that is all the time we have time for. It's all the time we have time for. That's all we have time for. Thank you all so much for coming out. Keanu Reeves and Chad Stahelski, everybody.